Hello and welcome. This is going to be another Divine Partnership Coaching video. And in this one, I'm just going to call it Wish the Best for Karmics, especially those that have, helped you heal through triggering you and providing you with contrast. And um, I don't just mean those that your twin flame are with either, because you've got others. You've got them in your family, even the stuff that comes through in your mind. But for this particular one, I know that it can be difficult to, only at first, it can be difficult to think about how can I wish the best for or think the best for somebody who you're going to feel like they're keeping your person from you or that they're hurting them, especially if they have a toxic situationship with your twin flame. So let me share a little secret, not secret with you. When you get into divine feminine, divine masculine energy, what you start to learn is how to alchemize toxic energy. And one of the best ways to do that is to turn ego into joy. It's to turn pain into healing, because only hurt people hurt people. And our thoughts and our words are just as powerful as our actions. I know it might not seem like it, to think about pushing someone and to go up and push them seem like different things, but to think about pushing someone can cause them to get pushed by somebody else. That's how manifestation works. And also, I follow many different sorts of pagan paths, but there throughout all sorts of spiritual paths, there's always some sort of a rule or law of equal but opposite energy that happens. And I like the threefold law, which is that what you put out comes back to you times 3. And so there's a couple things to think about. Is one, and ironically, I actually learned this from a karmic neighbor when I was with my DM some years ago, because I didn't want to wish ill on somebody that did not feel like a part of my character, though I really wanted them to move. I really wanted them to move, but I didn't want it to be like something bad happens to the house. And that can, I mean, if you're not specific about what you're asking for, you just want them to move, that sort of thing could happen. So instead, I started to think about, wouldn't it be great if, like, the parents got a really fantastic job offer for a really secure job, and the kids, they were closer to other family who could be kinder to them, and they could make great friends. I really started in my mind imagining just this really great scenario happening to them. And lo and behold, about a year later, they did have something similar to that happen. They ended up getting a really great offer, a whole state away. The dad had gotten a different job, and they were going to be closer, I believe, to the mom's family. And it wasn't, I don't know all of the details, but it was awfully close to what I had been thinking about. And the funny thing is, as with most manifestation, it happened when I stopped. I'd spent enough time thinking about it, and then when I stopped thinking about it, and it wasn't like it was neutral, it wasn't, oh man, it's not happening. No, I just wasn't thinking about it at all. Then it happened. And so I do that on a regular basis. Well, I do it with everybody. I wish everybody well. Like, it's become a regular practice of mine, but there's also several groups that I'm a part of, some indigenous groups, some pagan groups, even some Christian groups, that you practice praying for everyone, especially those that cause you pain or that trigger you in various ways. Like, you pray good for them, because healed people heal people, right? And so when you think about any karmics that are in situationships with karmic lessons with your twin flame, get into the practice of genuinely wishing them well. Like, it's how do I put it? It's easy to just think about, oh, I want my DM back, or I want my DF back. I want them to be broken up. I want them to dump the other person. I want the other person to dump them. I want them to break up. Though, let me ask you this. If that just happened like that and nothing were to change, since we reflect each other, what good would that do you? What good would that do them? And how are you going to feel if things go really, really horribly and you recognize that you were a part of co-manifesting an even crappier situation than where it started? Now, you're certainly not wholly responsible for however things go with them. The way that they go is a part of their lesson and their learning, but it's also a part of your lesson and your learning. So consider this. If you're sitting where you are and you are thinking about, it would be so wonderful for my twins karmic to feel self-love, like genuine self-love, to love and appreciate themselves and to connect with their twin, because they're more than likely also a twin flame to somebody, and they're with your twin flame to learn what they need to learn so they can go be with their twin flame. And wouldn't it be wonderful if they did that? Wouldn't it be wonderful if they could feel how you feel about your twin? Well, I mean, they do in a way, but wouldn't it be great if they were able to get to a healthy point where they recognize that your twin flame is not who their heart really calls them to, that they have somebody that they genuinely love, who genuinely loves them, and they're able to reach a point of self-awareness where they recognize they've got their own shadow work to do, and that they would like to, like, possibly do the journey similar to what you've done, to choose themselves in healthy ways, to approach life in a whole new way, in a radical way, to embrace absurdities, to heal from past hurts. And usually, because karmics are often hurt people that hurt people, wouldn't it be great if instead of like condemning them to just leave because you don't like them and they've hurt you or hurt your DM or kept them trapped or done black magic or whatever things, wouldn't it be much more enjoyable to picture them being healed so that they're not going out into the world doing any more of that? And you can't control it, though. Here's the thing. Our energy, what we send out, what we radiate, that's our vibration. That's what we call back towards us. And if we are thinking ill about somebody else, we are in karmic energy ourselves, and we are drawing in more karmic energy. So even if our twins were to come back towards us, guess what? They're also in karmic energy. Whereas if we're in joyful energy, we're in grateful energy, and we're genuinely wishing well for everybody, what do you think is going to come towards you? Especially if it's coming from your twin. It's going to be good, joyful, grateful, graceful energy. It's going to be the kind of energy that alchemizes pain into love. And that's the other thing to recognize too. The karmics that are, if this is really your twin and they're really in a karmic situationship for their learning, you don't have to really actually do anything to get them back other than work on yourself, because those karmics are going to be so, I don't want to say obsessed, but they're definitely going to be paying attention to you. And it is more than likely that in all those quiet moments when you're worried about, what's my DM doing? What's my DF doing? Why aren't they talking to me? They're likely fighting with their karmic about you. Even if the words aren't said, it's likely something that you did, or those karmics are going to see you glowing up and working on yourself, especially if you're choosing yourself and you're being single and you're enjoying it, like genuinely enjoying it, because people could tell if you're faking it. Like if you're actually enjoying it, they're going to be looking at you feeling like you have so much that they don't have, and they're going to be wishing you ill in most cases. They're going to be like, man, I hope all their money dries up. I hope it dry between their legs. I hope that they get locked up with somebody that keeps them busy and hurts them. I hope that somebody takes their person. I hope that things happen to them that are not good. It's so funny. Even in my mind, I'm having a hard time going to a place of what it's like to wish someone ill. I'm kind of proud of myself that that's where my mind goes, because I've not always been like that. I'm Capricorn with Scorpio placements. I can go to dark places, or at least I used to be able to. But imagine that, they're likely, they at least started that way. And many karmics have, lured away twin flames from their union in the middle of a big fight. They got in the middle of a fight between you and them, or they were already fighting with your twin flame when you met them and it was time to be done, but they saw you and they felt it. They felt that there was a different energy. You can feel when somebody genuinely has a connection with somebody else that is undeniable. And they're already going to be thinking about you, and they're already, a lot of them are going to be trying to copy you and imitate you and watch you. And when they can't, because they're in a place of feeling like a victim and they're in a place of feeling like you're a threat, you're over, you're over here feeling good and not worrying so much about it. And when you think, whenever you start to think about the situation, I wonder what my twin's up to, I wonder how him and the karmic are, her and the karmic are, train yourself to get to a point to where you're like, you know what, I don't need to know how they are. I'm genuinely going to wish well for both of them. I want my twin to do well. I want my twin to have a good experience, even if it's with the karmic, because there's no comparison to what it's like with you. Even if things are going well, those situationships are not meant to last. They're meant to teach. They're meant to heal. They're meant to get us to a place where we can level up. And if you're already working on leveling up, you are the level up for them, and you're leading the way. And while those karmics are wishing you ill, you're alchemizing that energy. Then you don't need protective shields. You don't need anti-hex stuff. You don't need any of that stuff. You naturally repel it. And any of it that comes towards you then gets alchemized into light because you're wishing them well. And eventually they're going to find it hard to wish ill on you, especially when they get to their healing place. And it's more than likely that when they get to their healing place, especially if you started teaching or coaching or working with others, that they're going to wish you well too. And they're going to realize that when they were in a place of ego, when they were in another dimension, when they were in there, that they really just didn't understand. And that they were happy to have run across a divine femme or a divine masculine like you who, yeah, you had your early moments of judgment, but in the end, you held no animosity towards them, and you provided them with an example of drama-free, mature ways to interact with other human beings, especially those who hurt us because they're hurting. All right, well, I'm going to leave this here. I hope that you got something out of it. Please feel free to leave any questions below, and you know how to reach me. I'll see you in the next video.